learning about finding unknown numbers. We did some of this activity before in a previous lesson when we used the red cups and Mrs. West knocked them over. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
See the red cups on the table?
Yeah.
And Mrs. West knocked them over and we had to figure out how many were left, right? Okay, so we'll do that a little bit later. We'll revisit that and practice that again. Okay, listen. Today we're going to practice something that we've done before too. We're going to find the unknown number, but I want you to listen because we're going to be dropping some pennies in a cup and see how many we have. And I'm going to want you to write that on your whiteboard, okay? So eyes up on me. Listen to the question first. Jorge dropped 3 pennies in a cup. Count with me. 1, 2, 3. Then he dropped 3 more. 1, 2, 3. So we dropped 2 sets of 3 in there. Do you guys remember how many that is? Let's count them all together. I'm going to take them all out. We want to know how many all together we had.
I know you're not supposed to draw next time.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So how many pennies did we count?
6.
Okay. Can you guys write on your board 3 and how many we dropped the second time and what that equals?
6.
Let me see you write it. I'll give you a second to write it and then we're going to do showdown when I tell you when we're ready, okay? Write the problem on your board. I see a lot of hard workers. Look up here. This was the other way we learned how to do it. We started with how many pennies to begin with? How many did we drop in there the first time? 3, right? We put 3 in there. Then how many did we drop in there the second time? How many did we change?
3.
3 again. So your problem on your board should look a little bit like this. So I'm going to give you another few more seconds. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, showdown. Very good. 3 plus 3 equals 6. That's another way to write it, isn't it? Good job, Cameron. So look up here. Mrs. West started with 3. Banks has the start change method up here. So I started with 3, and then how many did I add the second time? Raise your hand. 3. And so how many did I have at the end after I added them both together? Clayton.
6.
Very good. And we had 6 in there all together. Okay, go ahead and erase your board. We're going to do a few more. Okay, now listen to my problem, okay? Erase your board, we're not drawing. Larissa dropped 4 pennies in a cup. Count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then she dropped 5 more pennies in the cup. So we're going to start at 4. Let's count up. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I see some of you counting on your fingers. That's good. So how many did I add all together?
9.
So what is another way you could write this on your board? Go ahead and write it.
What did you write?
Larissa dropped 4 pennies in a cup. Then she dropped 5 more. How many pennies did she drop in all?
5 or 4.
Do you think, raise your hand, do you think we should be adding or subtracting? Aubrey,
Adding.
can you tell me why you think that?
Because she dropped 4 in and then she added 5 more.
And they wanted to know how many all together, right? Very good. Cameron, very good. Now watch up here, I'm going to show you another method. Go ahead and share with your shoulder partner what you have on your board. Karen, I like how you have both methods on your board. That's really using your thinking skills. Okay, eyes up here. Eyes up here. Can someone raise their hand and tell me how many pennies we had to begin with? Cameron? Pay attention. How many pennies did Larissa drop in there to begin with? Christine, how many did she do first? 4, okay. then she dropped 5 more pennies. So what was the change? We added how many? Isabella? I see a lot of good answers on there, but I'd like somebody to raise their hand and tell me how many they ended up with altogether. Hurry up.
9.
Okay, so we had 4. We changed by adding 5 more, right? Pennies. And we ended up with 9. Now watch up here. Mrs. West is going to show you another way that you could have figured this. Okay? I know we worked with tally marks before. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
So we first had four pennies, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. Then how many pennies did I add after I did the 4? Felix.
5.
Right. So I'm going to add because I added them to the jar, right? Count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And what do we call that? Seatbelt. Okay. So we have 4 and we have 5.
That's what I did.
So that equals how many? Can somebody count my tally marks? You've already counted them, Isabel. What do you have? 9. Okay. Another way to do that, erase this. You could actually draw pennies on your board, right? We've done that too. Good job, Cameron. So we have 4 pennies to begin with, plus 5 pennies. No. Yep, you're showing another way of doing it. So we have got 4 plus 5 pennies, right? So Mrs. West ended up with, counted 9 pennies that Larissa dropped. So watch, I'm going to do the 5. Can someone help me count these pennies over here? How about all together? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's another way to count them, okay? Go ahead and erase your board. You did showdown with your shoulder partner, so we're going to move on so we don't spend too much time on one slide. Okay, now listen, this is going to be a little bit different. Kind of the same, but a little bit different. I need for you to erase your board. Olivia dropped 2 pennies in a cup. Benji dropped some more pennies. They dropped 5 pennies in all, which means all together. How many pennies did Benji drop? So listen, Olivia dropped 2 pennies. So 1, 2. Benji dropped some more pennies in there. But all together it was 5. So I'm going to add some more. But we're going to have to write this problem to figure it out, okay? Okay, just a minute. We want to give time for some of those that need help with it, okay? So how many did Olivia put in the jar to begin with? 2. Good job, Karen. And how many did she have all together? Can someone tell me how many did she have all together? Tatum?
5.
Okay. So we started with 2, and we're trying to figure out how many we added to get to 5. No, not quite.
2 more.
Watch. Watch just a second. Watch. Look at my number line. We're starting at 2. Jamarius, watch my number line. We started with 2 pennies. But we ended up with 5 altogether. How many spaces do I have to move over to get to 5? Help me count. 1, 2, 3. So how many spaces, how many more pennies did we have to add? Clayton?
3.
Good job. Cameron, did you understand that? Okay.
What if we did the turnaround? What's that?
You can do the turnaround fact, but really kind of another way to do this is to do what? To subtract? Could we subtract?
On the end. Like when we had 6 and we added and we subtracted 1 and it was 6 and it was 5.
This is how many pennies we had all together. We started with 2, and we had, and our total was 5. I didn't know what this number was to begin with. Do you remember that? And so we counted. Count with me how many.
Wait, that's 5.
This is a 5 over here on this side. Okay.
Upside too. It should be.
Can someone show me if they wrote it? Can someone show me if they wrote the problem another way? Because I see a couple people. Raise your hand. Jada, how did you do yours? She did tally marks. Can you hold it up and show our friends in the class? Show your friends behind you so they can see. I see Clayton's got the change method. You did a good job on that. Okay? You can work it like this, but sometimes we have to use other methods to find the answer, don't we? Whether we count on our hands, whether we use a number line, or if we count with actual pennies. Okay, go ahead and erase your boards. You guys are doing a nice job. I better erase that first. Erase your boards. Let's see how fast we can get everything erased.
I already beat that. I beat it. It's not erased.
Okay,
How fast?
we're moving on. Okay, listen. Mrs. West is gonna model unknown numbers. Aubrey and Kieran, are you listening? Okay, Jackie dropped 3 pennies in a cup. So we're gonna do this again. Listen. But I want you to count with me, okay? It helps us get a better visual idea of how many we have all together. Because I know you guys are good counters. Are you ready? Jackie dropped 3 pennies in a cup, so count that with me. 1, 2, 3. Then she dropped 4 more pennies. So we left off at 3. What's our next number going to be? 4, 5, 6, 7. How many do we have all together?
7.
7. And it says right here, Jackie dropped 3 pennies in a cup, then she dropped 4 more pennies in a cup. She dropped 7 pennies in all. Let me see you write that on the board, on your whiteboard. Okay? We started with 3. Can everyone see? Cameron, can you see? We started with 3 pennies. We dropped 4 more in there. I like how Luke is using his fingers too. And the total number was 7. Raise your hand if you got the same answer. Wow. Feel your head. Is it on fire? You're doing a lot of thinking.
No, mine is on fire.
Hold it up. Tate's going to hold his up. Just sit down. We don't want you to stand up. Hold it. Show everybody around you. Good job. Look at Calvin's. He actually drew pennies. Kieran and Aubrey. Do you see your friend Calvin's board? He drew pennies.
Look at mine.
Nice job. Okay, go ahead and erase.
I got mine. Nobody was
looking at. Oh, everybody was looking. Okay, are we ready to move on?
Yes.
Listen. Listen. Marcus dropped 5 pennies in a cup. Then he dropped 3 more pennies in the cup. How many pennies are in the cup now? So how many did he drop to begin with?
5.
Count with me. Take and sit up and join us, please. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then he dropped 3 more pennies in the cup. So how many more do I need? Huh?
3.
Good job, Aubrey. So 3. So we left off with 5, 6, 7, 8. Write on your board how many 5 plus 3 and tell me what you come up with.
How do you draw
An S and close the gate.
I did. The pen is italics.
Good job.
I did.
I like to see all the methods that you guys are using to get the answer. Just a minute. Okay, go ahead and share with your shoulder partner what you got as an answer and how you got it.
I got 5 plus.
Explain it.
How you got 5?
Good job. Hold it up. You guys take a look at Ida's.
Take a look at mine.
Good job. Because that's how many we added at the second watch. Nice job. Watch. Drop 5 pennies to begin with. Voices need to be off. Have a seat. Have a seat. Mark dropped 5 pennies in a cup. Then he dropped 3 more pennies in the cup. So first, write a 5. Okay, so let's plus, that's the end here, plus